Hello, Eurovision friends. Thank you so much for coming to my channel, Eurovision Histories, for my review of the dress rehearsal of semifinal 2, which happened yesterday. I watched the whole show in the online media center, and I want to tell you what I thought about each of the rehearsals, including Germany, France, and the United Kingdom, but also all of the semifinalists, obviously. And I'll tell you a bit what to expect in the show. So it's kind of a preview for semi 2 as well, when not to take a toilet break, when not to switch the channel, though I'm sure you wouldn't do that anyway. And at the end of the video, we'll also have a quick look at the odds, even though they were wrong in semifinal 1. But still, it's interesting to look at them. If you are looking for a prediction, this is not the video for you. I'll leave a link in the description for the video where I did my semifinal 2 predictions. And I'll also try to add a link up here, so you can click on that and then come back here later if you want. Obviously, spoiler alert, this is about the rehearsal, so if you don't want anything to know anything before the show, don't watch this video, maybe. So let's get right to it. And also I wanted to say I'm just a dude with a microphone. I'm not an expert or anything like that. I just share my impressions, so don't take it too seriously. Yeah, just an opinion. So we start with Gojo, Milkshake Man, and Australia. This is a very fun performance. Lots of stuff going on. There are a lot of magic tricks here, not just the one magic trick where he changes his outfit. One of the backing dancers, something happens to her in that milkshake cup as well, and that is a lot of fun. At the end, there are some graphics that are a bit much, I think. Which might turn a few people off in the end, but I still think that this will qualify. I won't update my predictions this time because I did worse after watching the rehearsals and trying to predict in semi 1, so I learned my lesson, even though I kind of want to change a few things, but I'm not going to. Okay, so Australia, a good performance. You shouldn't miss it. It's very entertaining. Then Nina Žižić and Dobrodošli. Also a good performance. This white thing that she has behind her, I don't even know how to call it, the pillow almost, it looks like. It's very distracting. For the first like 2 minutes, I thought, take it off, take it off, take it off, because I don't know why they did that. It doesn't really work. However, the graphics are amazing for this. The lighting is wonderful. It's like she is in heaven. Really cool. And at the end, it does come off, and that is a nice moment. She sang this well, not as well as I've heard her before. I almost feel like in Montesong it was better, but that's why it's only a rehearsal. And that's what rehearsals are for, which I also wanted to say. If I say someone sang off tune or something, it's a rehearsal. It doesn't matter all that much yet. What is important is the performance tonight. So Nina Žižić, I'm a bit worried for. I will be voting for her because I love the song, but a bit worried there. Then Emi and Laika Party for Ireland. I predicted this to be a non-qualifier, and after seeing the rehearsal, I'm kind of more sure about that prediction, because the main thing that surprised me here is that she's very static. She stands on that thing, on this spaceship or whatever you want to call it that we saw in the rehearsal clip for the entire performance. I thought at least at the minute and a half mark, she would get down and dance a bit with the backing dancers. It doesn't happen. She just stands on top of that thing. And I just feel it's way too static a performance for that song. There are some cool moments with the marching spaced dogs, which look like cats. But it feels too static, unfortunately. And the fun is there, but it doesn't quite come across when the lead singer just stands there rather statically, unfortunately. But then Latvia and Tautometas, this is something else. It was beautiful at the national final already, but there are so many wow moments visually, and it works with the music. It changes from blue to softer colors and lightning. Really beautiful, really incredible. This has to qualify. I really hope it qualifies. They sing incredibly well, which is not true for for a lot of performers, at least in the semifinal, at least in the rehearsal once again. But you have to watch this. It is absolutely beautiful. The start, especially, you only see their silhouettes and this curtain they have with wonderful light effects. Amazing. Really amazing. Then Park and Survivor, this surprised me very positively. He doesn't have the tank top anymore from throughout the entire performance. I thought he would take it off at some point, but he doesn't even put it on. And it looks like it looks like a festival performance, and it kind of looks like he was in the mud pit at a festival because he has dirt all over him. If that's makeup, it's very well done, or maybe they put real dirt on him. But he performs this very well vocally. I was very impressed by that. Lots of running, lots of jumping going on. This could be a surprise qualifier if people aren't turned off by the high intensity. And then the song is still not 100% there. I think it's still not the best song, but he gives it his all, and really impressive. Another one that you shouldn't miss. Then JJ Wasted Love, the second favorite to win the entire thing. This was interesting to see. We basically don't really see his face for most of the performance, which I always think is a bit of a problem because you want to connect to the people watching. Loreen kind of won, not showing her face all that much twice. So maybe it's not a big problem, but I think this is a huge, huge risk that I took with this staging. The last 30 seconds really work with the EDM, bass and everything. That really works. It could turn a few people off because it looks like an art house movie thing. And then the operatic vocals, it's very special. It's very unique and it will stand out. I think it will qualify. But I'm very interested to see what will happen with this, whether people really connect to it or whether they don't. Because I think it's either one or the other. Either they really love it or they don't get it at all. We shall see. I don't think Austria comes 10th or something. It's either first or second, or it's even worse. So we shall see what happens there. I'm very interested to hear your opinions after you see the performance in the semifinal. I'll do another community post to ask your opinion, to then include in my review video as well. This is an interesting one. The vocals, by the way, were absolute perfection, obviously. And the thing he drapes himself with in the 30-second rehearsal clip is actually the sail. So I was right about that. At least something I was right about for once. Sorry, I almost forgot one thing. Austria is still second in the audience poll, so maybe it's just me that felt like it was a bit distant. So people really liked it, apparently. So don't take my opinion too seriously. Then we have Remember Monday, What the Hell Just Happened. They didn't do all too well in the audience poll, and I kind of understand why, because unfortunately during the rehearsal something was wrong with the sound. Maybe one of them couldn't hear themselves because it sounded very off in a lot of places. The harmonies, I mean, that's kind of the risk in a performance like this, and a vocal performance like this. If one of them can't hear themselves and sings just a few notes off, then the whole harmonies don't work. And that is kind of what happened during the rehearsal, unfortunately. I also think this could have used a lot more props. They have this boudoir thing, which is very small and kind of gets lost on this huge stage as well. They have the chandelier, which is cool, but that's really the two only props. And this is the kind of song and performance that could have used the kitchen sink, I think. So I hope they can improve. Obviously they can. They know how to sing this. And that's what rehearsals are for, but a bit underwhelmed by this one, unfortunately. To subscribe to the channel, only a third of you watching this video are, and if you like Eurovision, this might be the place for you. I hope you like the video, and if you do, subscribe and also like the video. And then we're also on WhatsApp, so if you want to not miss any videos or any updates, then join the channel on WhatsApp. I'll leave the link in the description. Next up, we have Klavdia for Greece. This impressed me a lot, especially after the shaky vocal performance by the UK. The vocals here were absolute perfection from start to finish. She is very impressive as a vocalist. I think this will do quite well with the juries once it reaches the final, which I think it will. People thought that this was too static. I said about Ireland that it's too static, but that's a fun, upbeat song. this, I think, works because a lot around her is happening. The graphics are beautiful for this. There's a backing dancer that she almost connects with, but then they drift apart, which the song is obviously about as well. And there's a dress reveal at the end, so don't drift off during the performance. There's a huge moment at the end that is really beautiful, and she has a different dress after that, so check that out. It is quite impressive. I had a wow moment. I kind of heard about it before, but seeing it really was a cool wow moment. Then we have Catharsis and Tavoakis. People are scared that this won't qualify. I think it will. Lithuania has a lot of support in this semi. And the rehearsal was quite good, very good actually. There are a lot of very close up camera shots with him, and he draws us in and the audience in. So I'm not that worried. There are a lot of very quick camera shots in this, which might turn a few people off that want a more subdued performance. But I think Lithuania should make it in the end. This one, for the first like 2 minutes, Malta and Mirjana Conte, I thought, oh, this could be in trouble because the fun and the excitement didn't quite come across. It felt a bit subdued for the kind of song that it is. The pun isn't there anymore, and now it's just a pop song kind of about female empowerment, which is cool. But it doesn't quite come across 100%. But then the last minute happens and the bouncy balls come in and the graphics explode into craziness. And that made me chuckle. And then I thought, okay, I think Malta is safe. In the end, vocally, it was a bit shaky in some parts, but overall quite good. And I think this will make it. Mariam Shengelia for Georgia. This surprised me quite positively because the vocals are 100%. She reminds me of Vanessa Kirby. I've thought about who does she remind me of, and that's who it is, who played Margaret in the first 2 seasons of The Crown. Beautiful, beautiful imagery here as well. One background looks like a Japanese painting, and I still don't think this will make it because the song is just not interesting enough, but they did a good job with the staging here, and she performs the ha out of this song as well. Then Luan and Maman, my second favorite song, and I really want France to win because I think a French hosted Eurovision would be amazing. And I say that as a caveat for what I'm about to say. I was expecting something very big. I want this to win. I want this to do incredibly well. And I was a bit underwhelmed. I think the emotion does come across. She's an amazing performer and artist, and it does work. But it is a bit over choreographed, I think. There are lots of moments where she turns and it's a different camera shot, which is fine and which might be done for the televoters, especially to convince them to vote for her. I think this takes away from the emotion of the song, unfortunately. And the sand, which is not sand, I think it's like bark or something, very small pieces, and you kind of notice that it isn't sand the way it moves, which was a bit distracting to me. And then lots of these little particles get stuck in her hair, which looks a bit weird after a while, at least to me. And then at the end of the performance, she coughed while saying merci and thank you. She had to cough a lot. So this is a very risky performance. I'm not sure whether this only happened during this rehearsal and something went wrong. But if this happens for every performance, it kind of takes you out of the moment if there's stuff stuck in her hair, unfortunately. I'm waiting for tonight to see the full live performance on the big screen of my TV, and we shall see. But I was a bit underwhelmed by this, unfortunately, vocally and performance-wise, Luan-wise, so to speak. This was very, very good. So kudos to her. Not sure whether the staging is the best thing. There are beautiful, beautiful moments, obviously, with the sand falling and everything. They're very impressive visuals. I just don't know whether these few tiny things I just mentioned might take a lot of people out of the song. Then Sizzle and Hallucination. This is Eurovision galore. This looks like Karula. I thought of a lot of different artists that have participated in Eurovision for some of the Nordic countries. I'm not sure. She sang this well. This could work. Lots of Nordic visuals as well, Nordic lights, kind of inspired. I feel like very cold lighting as well. It could work. I'm not sure it will because the song is still not one of the best ones, according to me at least. But kind of well done. I think for the people who like the traditional Eurovision of the 2000s and 2010s with the girl bops and the schlagery stuff, will maybe like this, and then it might be a shock qualifier in the end. Adonis and Kiss Kiss Goodbye. It's very lots of male backing dancers. He is very flamboyant in the whole performance. The song is good, and he sings this incredibly well. The goodbye, the bye, he adds so much emotion in his voice, even though he's moving around a lot. I don't know whether the moving around was a good idea. I don't know about the outfit either, but it kind of impressed me, I have to say. And it kind of works as a performance, so I'm not worried about this one. But who knows? After semi one, I'm not sure about anything anymore. Then Laura Thorne and La Poupe monte le son. I was confused because the Reddit blog said she's in a dollhouse, and then we saw the 30-second clip, and there was no dollhouse. But now I understand what happens. There is an animation at the beginning, which is really cool and works really well, where she's an actual doll, but it's her in the animation. I don't know how they do that. And there's a TV also, check that out because France Gall is on their TV. So really cool nod to the homage they pay to Luxembourg's second winner in 1960. So cool, cool performance. And then from the animation, she gets transported onto the stage. Really cool effect. And then the rest of the performance is just really well done. She becomes more and more of a human being, which is exactly what I wanted for this song, like from a doll to the human being. And then she has a message at the end as well that you should listen to try to explain maybe what the whole song is about. This does really well. I predicted this not to qualify. I think it will qualify now, though I won't update my prediction, as I said. She looks amazing. And the whole song has a very French feel to it, like French pop. And I think that will work quite well with a lot of audiences. There is the dress reveal as well, which makes the transition from doll to human being complete in the end. And I think this will work quite well, and you shouldn't miss that performance. Then Yuval Raphael, New Day Will Rise for Israel. I didn't think I would say this because she is a great vocalist, I do believe. There were two moments where the voice cracked a little bit. Unfortunately, maybe that was just during the rehearsal, and during the live performance it will be different. I was worried about the stairs going up part because that can look awkward, but they did that in a very effective way where the camera follows her up to that second level of the prop. And the graphics for this are quite impressive as well. Lots of water coming in, and this will work quite well. And no doubt really that this will qualify. Then Abor and Tuna with Bala, I'm so happy. So happy because she sang this well. There were a few moments where it was a bit shaky, but it doesn't matter for a song like this. This staging is amazing. It really looks like she's at a club somewhere in Berlin, probably, walking down the stairs. There's lots of fog. It works with the backing dancers. This is incredibly cool. The skirt she has comes off in the middle of the performance. She throws it into the audience. You notice that once she has to move a bit more, the vocals get a bit more shaky, but this is very effective. The song is incredibly catchy, so I'm hoping for a pretty good result for us. Maybe not top 10, but maybe top 15 would be nice. Well done, whoever thought of this staging. Really, really cool. Really cool, I have to say. Really impressed. I think one of the best German stagings I've seen, actually. So don't miss that either. And it's also good that they have Germany between Israel and Serbia because it breaks up the ballads a bit. This one, Prince Mila for Serbia, also impressed me visually. The backing dancers dressed in black are kind of like his demons. It is the story of Orpheus and Eurydice. I don't think people will get that, but they will understand that he's fighting something, and that is symbolized by the backing dancers, and it works quite well. The pulling by the legs part is a bit weird, but that's the only thing that really I didn't like all that much. His look and his charisma comes across, and also the voice is incredible. The vocal performance was perfect. And he has done perfectly every single time. We saw with Slimane last year that sometimes they do well every single time, and then when it counts, they don't. But I don't think that will happen for Prince and Mila. So a great rehearsal, I have to say, for Serbia. And then Erika Wickmann with Ich komme. This burned down the house. This was, I mean, it's kind of the UMK performance, but there are some moments I don't really know what it is, but that makes it seem huger. The fog, maybe some of the lighting as well. She performs incredibly well, and she gives her all, even though this was just a rehearsal. And the moment when the music starts, the tempo starts to change and become faster and faster, and she's on that huge microphone, it just gets you. And I think being last in the semifinal, this might mean that this wins, either this or Israel, I guess. Well done, really well done. Incredible. So don't miss that either. You wouldn't miss it, I think, but really cool. Let's have a look at the odds as well as they are at the moment. And you can see that Serbia has unfortunately now dropped to the non-qualifiers, but let's go through them. Montenegro last with 12%. Unfortunately, that sounds about right. Georgia, 12%. Even though I could see this qualify, as well as Denmark at 38%, Armenia 44%, Ireland 48, Serbia 50. So last time with semi 1, Portugal was in 14th position with 15 points. Maybe that's good news for Denmark. And Iceland, which also made it, was in 12th position with 42%. Maybe that's good news for Ireland or Serbia. We shall see. And then the rest of the odds you can see there, which makes sense. I think Israel, Austria quite high. Maybe it's just me, probably just me, and people love the performance. Finland, I don't know why it dropped, honestly. I think this should be up there in first or second place. Malta is surprising to me that it's that high. I think it could be overshadowed by Finland coming later. Australia makes sense, Lithuania makes sense, Greece makes sense, Luxembourg, now that I saw the performance, makes sense. Czechia might be in trouble, but I think it isn't. Latvia also makes sense that they increased, but I also think that Serbia will make it, honestly. So maybe who might be out then? Maybe Czechia is in a bit of trouble then. We shall see. We shall see what happens. As I said, the odds aren't all that right. They weren't right for semi 1 at least. Belgium, by the way, was in 6th position and didn't qualify. That is Lithuania now. I don't think they won't qualify. And Cyprus was 7th with 84%, by the way, and Belgium 85%. So take the polls and the odds with a pinch of salt, as always. Those were the odds for semifinal 1 as they are on the day of the semifinal. And then quickly about the interval act. There's not really an opening act, so be ready right at 9 to watch the first performance from Australia. The interval act is quite nice. They invited some of the artists from 2020 back. There's a bit of an intro, which is a bit dramatic, about like a documentary about a disaster or something, that made me chuckle a little bit, which I don't think was the intention. And then they get to perform their songs, John Steers, The Roop, Effendi, and Destiny as well. What I thought was a bit weird is that all of these have one thing in common, and that's that they already performed in Eurovision 2021. So they got their chance to be on that stage. I guess Tom Leeb and Diodato and others weren't available. I don't know. That was a bit strange, but these were kind of the favorites to win, and it was really cool to hear Cleopatra and all of these cool songs again. And then they have a bit of a part where they go to Eurovision fanatics who live Eurovision. I thought, why don't they come to me? Or any of you maybe watching this video. So that's a cool part. And then the streams dropped at some point. So I don't know whether there's anything happening after the voting reveal like they had in Semi 1. But I guess we can be surprised. So lots of cool stuff to look forward to. Have a great semifinal evening, and I'll see you tomorrow for the review of Semi 2. I might do a chart update, because lots of interesting things are happening in the charts with the songs from Semi 1. So subscribe if you don't want to miss that, and if you do, I'll see you for my next video. See you then, and bye-bye.